Hello good people of YouTube and welcome to my hobby channel. I'm just going to do a quick video here which is basically an unboxing of these Tom Meier's Lizardmen. So I will be doing a painting video on these. I'm painting these for a friend of mine, but I've also got some Troglodites and other bits and pieces lying around here which I will look at, and these are from my own collection. Some of them I might paint whilst I'm painting the Lizardmen, but in this video I just wanted to do a quick unboxing and have a look at these old classic reptilian goodies. Okay, so here we are. A little trip down memory lane. I used to have this set of Lizardmen, but I can't find mine. Never painted them. I think I might have sold them. If I did, it was 15 years ago. If not, they're in a plastic bag somewhere, buried in a box in the mountain of grey that that I have. But first things first, I'm just going to lift this out so I can turn this over without, and then we can just have a look on the back. And basically there's 9 warriors. The photograph there in black and white, as was always the way with the old Citadel miniatures, like this. And yeah, Tom Meier's Lizard Warriors. So I'm actually looking forward to painting this. And we've got various different poses and different weapons. Miniatures in this set are suitable for use with role-playing, tabletop and other games. But this for me is a real, as I said, trip down memory lane. I'll just get some of these out and we'll zoom in and have a close look at each lizard warrior. But you can see from here, some are still in mint condition, never been painted. So there's 2 there. And then others have been painted. But we'll just look at each miniature. But the paint on these isn't too bad. It's quite thin, the detail's still there. So I'm tempted, rather than stripping them back to bare metal, just to use that as a base coat. Zenith will highlight a white on top just to make the detail pop, and then come in and paint over the top and highlight, so we'll see. Okay, so this is the first one. This is Warrior charging with axe, and it's already had a bit of paint on it. I may drop one of these miniatures into some paint stripper just to see if it comes off easily. If it does, great. If not, I'll run with what's already here as a base coat, and as I said earlier, prime on top. So there's that one, and you can see Tom Meier's signature there underneath. So that's the first lizard warrior of the set, Warrior charging with axe. The second one is Warrior thrusting with spear. Again, that's had some paint on it, which I may or may not run with. 3 is Warrior with mace and shield. 4 is Warrior advancing with halberd. 5 is Warrior with sword and shield. 'Just noticed there, does that say 83? 1983. And then we've got this one, Warrior with serrated katana. That's quite a nice mini, that one. Anyway. Again, this is a pose that I love. Warrior with hooked sword. Number 8, it's Warrior with throwing spear, and I might just try and lift the nose of that spear slightly there while I'm painting it. And finally, miniature number 9, Warrior with cutting pole. So I have put an order in for some hex bases, but they've not arrived yet. So I will be painting these as they are, and I'll be putting them onto the bottles that I use with some sand in them to weight them down because it's cheaper than buying a fancy painting handle, and it works just as well. 1, 2, 3, right. I just wanted to take a quick look at these Troglodites. These are from my own personal collection. Again, Tom Meier sculpted these, and this one's broken. I've still got the axe that I need to glue on there, and I'll probably reinforce it with a little bit of milliput or green stuff underneath the axe handle. Once that's glued in place, I think it is probably just big enough to drill with a really fine drill bit and get a tiny piece of metal in there to add some support. But yeah, if you just see there, so I need to fix that, get some putty in there. But I might have a go at painting these at the same time that I'm doing the Lizardmen for my friend. This is one of my favourite miniatures. I don't know why I took it off the base. I think I did a conversion with it and then decided not to go ahead with that. So I'll be looking at restoring those. And then we've got these two here as well, these two Troglodites, which are rather nice. And what I'll do, just to show you the difference in scale between a Troglodyte and a Lizardman. There's quite a size difference. I suppose these old Lizardmen are more like skinks, and these are more like croxigores or something, whatever they're called. I always liked Lizardmen, but never actually ended up with a Lizardman army. Still, that's those Tom Meier sculpts. Right, I've got some old Lizardmen here as well, which were Citadel ones. I can't remember who sculpted these. One's a shaman, again, that's broken, and I'll have to restore that, which should be all right. Again, just a thin bit of metal in there. But these, I've had these since, well, whenever I was 14 or whatever. So they have been painted and stripped a few times. But I'm thinking I might take this opportunity to paint these up as well. So yeah, they've waited long enough. So that's two old Citadel Lizardmen. And the next thing I want to show you is, really this is the direction that I wish GW had gone in with their Lizardmen. And that was the Slan, but they didn't, and the Slan suffered the same kind of fate as Chaos Dwarves in terms of models being sidelined and marginalised and not having rules. So I've got one here which I think these were originally sculpted, so if you wanted you could snip the tabs off the bottom and they would actually fit onto a cold one. So you could use it as a cold one rider, or stick it in a slot base and have it as a trooper. I seem to remember that being a thing when I was young. But another miniature there for restoration. Now this was a Preslotta Slan that I bought again when I was a wee lad, and yeah, loved that figure. I also had some slaves, 2 Slan slaves there, which I intend to paint up and base up. I've actually got duplicates, so I'll probably end up selling, either painting them differently or selling one. Who knows? And then same here, 2 of these guys. Might do a painting video on these. Thin out my collection. Anyway, that is the Slan Slave Master, and in fact, looking at him, I do remember having him. So yeah, I don't know if they came in a set together. Anyway, but there's a Slave Master and 2 slaves, so I'll be painting him for my own personal collection. And then finally, we've got this guy here with his bent axe. So yeah, I always wanted an army of Slan. I might end up sculpting some, but there we go. I had a whole load of these Lizardmen from Reaper, and this is the last one that's left. So scale wise, I'll just do a quick comparison there with the Tom Meier Lizard Warriors from the box, a Tom Meier Troglodyte, which is about the same size there. These are also available now in Reaper Bones plastic. Right, the old Citadel Lizardmen, and a Slan, and a slightly bigger Slan. Now I do have some Lizardmen on cold ones, which I will also be painting. And then again, just a quick scale comparison with some of these old metals. So yeah. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just warm up some blue tack, so I can get these minis onto a painting handle, which I've made out of bottles from fruit juice shot drinks. So this blue tack, normal blue tack, gets quite sticky when you warm it up and work it like this. So I find that's fine. I know you can get stickier versions of blue tack on the market, and some people use those. But so far, this has done the trick. So yeah, just a fruit shot bottle. Bit of blue tack on top, and then just push the base into the blue tack. Really simple. There, make sure that none of the detail is covered, and then that's it now for the whole sort of painting process. I'll prime that while it's on here. I'll zenithal prime it with a white spray, and then I'll get in and start painting and highlighting. But that is how I like to paint my miniatures. Comfortable size, sand in the handle gives it a good weight, so that when you put it down, it stands upright, even with the slope on my painting desk. And I'm just going to do that, and then quickly with this one I'll just pop a Troglodite on there and get that pushed in, and again make sure the feet aren't covered up, and that will do. Don't need to move that now until it's painted. Before I mount these onto bottles, I'm just going to drop one into some paint stripper and see if it strips easily. So I'll probably go with this one and then finish off the video with the end results. Right, so I've had a go at stripping this one, and the paint is well and truly adhered to the metal. So I'm not going to jump through hoops to try and shift something that is adhering stubbornly to that model. Instead, I'm going to work with it. I've cleaned it up. I'm just going to do a zenithal prime now on top, and I'll do the same with all these guys as well. And then that will about wrap it up for this stage. The only other thing I was going to do for this video at least was glue that Troglodite onto that plastic base, so that I can paint him and not worry about the feet sinking into blue tack. I've got this tired pot here of super glue which is starting to thicken up. that on there. Hope that that will stick. I'm not after a permanent bond. I'll probably pin this to a base when I get round to mounting it on a decent gaming base, but for now that should sit in some blue tack quite nicely and let me paint that model, and then I can prime it. Okay, so I'm looking to wrap this video up. Now that I've primed these, I'll just pull this chap out here. As you can see, I've done a zenithal prime in white, and I've used the previous layer of paint as a base coat there. You know, there's no point breaking your back over trying to remove stubborn paint if it doesn't obscure the detail. So that works well. I can either give this lizard warrior here a cloak that's kind of cream or yellow or light in colour, or I can just ignore it and go straight for something like a dark red or a black. But here they are, the mint miniatures. I've given a grey prime first and then a zenithal in white. So I think it was these two that were unpainted. And then just to show you there how the white zenithal prime sits on top of a miniature that's already been painted. And I think that looks fine. I'll be working some, you know, green colours in on the scales anyway, and working up from the colour that was used by the previous owner, and then touching in some highlights. So here we have 9 lizard warriors sculpted by Tom Meier from way back when, 1983. They're all primed now, ready to paint with speed paints and contrast colours, and that will be the subject of the follow-up video to this one. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this nostalgic look back at some old Preslotta Lizardmen and Troglodites and Slan. If you have, please like and subscribe. Please keep an eye out for further videos on this and other hobby goodness. As always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.